Merhaba, I'm Ayşenur from Turkish Food and Travel. Welcome to the second episode of Turkish Pantry Essentials series. Today I'm inviting you to explore one of the most practical and nourishing corners of the Turkish kitchens, our grains and legumes. These powerful ingredients like rice, chickpeas, bulgur not only fill our pantries but also carries the flavors, stories and traditions of centuries. Whether you make quick mercimek çorbası, lentil soup, fluffy Turkish rice pilav or chickpeas, these staples are always here to support and inspire. Let's take a closer look at what I keep in my pantry and how these ingredients shine in everyday Turkish cooking. Let's start with the rice. This is the backbone of many side dishes. It can be main dish too. We mostly use medium to long grain, less starchy rice. Our most common ones are baldo and osmancık, and we have lots of different types throughout the Anatolia and Marmara region as well. Pilav is so important in our culture, it is almost a measure of a cook's skill. Turkish pilav has to be fluffy with enough butter. If you use orzo or vermicelli, which I'm gonna talk more about it in a bit, it has to be nutty flavor and beautiful aroma. One of the most elegant and festive rice dishes in Turkish cuisine is Perde Pilavı. A layered pilav with spiced rice, chicken, almonds and pine nuts, all wrapped in a golden pastry crust. The filling is rich and fragrant with cinnamon, black pepper and broth soaked rice, then it's packed into a mold lined with a soft yogurt-based dough. It even has a special way of decorating with almonds. And after baking, it comes out with a golden crust and a surprise waiting inside. You can find the full step-by-step Perde Pilavı recipe in the archive. Just check the link below if you like to try it yourself. Rice is also essential in many types of dolma and sarma, stuffed or rolled vegetables like bell peppers, grape leaves or cabbage, as you see here. This version is made with a spicy rice and minced meat filling, gently seasoned with onion, tomato paste and warm spices. Once rolled into blanched cabbage leaves, they are arranged in a pot or tray and baked in the oven with a rich tomato sauce on top. It's a comforting hearty dish, especially loved during the colder months. Next, right to the rice, you often see beans. And there is a good reason for it. White beans, used in one of the beloved home-cooked dishes in Turkey, kuru fasulye. Usually it is slow cooked with onions, tomato, pepper paste. Sometimes we can add meat, but it is always best with rice. In my version, I shared how you can make it using Instant Pot. Here I used horoz fasulyesi. It is similar to cannellini, but you can also use navy beans, which when I search looks like şeker fasulyesi. Let me show you how big it got after it is soaked. Pretty big. Traditionally we make it in big pans or even clay pots. Same in the Instant Pot, I begin by sauteing my onions, then more of a tomato paste and a little bit pepper paste, then add the soaked white beans. Continue to saute a little bit. I like to add a little bit flour just to give some nutty flavor and to help to thicken the sauce. Add more water or broth and let it cook. I like to naturally give time to release the steam so it continues to cook and becomes like a melt in the mouth texture. We always serve it on top of the rice or separately in a deep plate with a fluffy rice pilav on the side. It's a blessing. And another beautiful recipe you can use using white beans is Fasülye Pilavı. It's a beautiful, refreshing summer dish salad you can make using white beans. Throughout Anatolia we have different white bean types like şeker fasulyesi, horoz fasulye, and bigger ones. And speaking of comfort, it is not complete without chickpeas. Chickpeas are another pantry hero. They are used in hearty stews, sautéed and then wrapped in breads. Very famous street food, especially in the southeastern part of Turkey. And then another very staple street food and home food would be nohutlu pilav, rice with chickpeas. On the streets you can find it in push carts or street vendors, or even as a small eatery in restaurants. They either serve it chickpeas with rice or with chicken pieces as well. And I also have that recipe on my channel. It's a beautiful comforting dish, all in one pan. I often make, especially during winter when I don't have much time. Once you have cooked chickpeas in the fridge, it is very easy to make. You boil a chicken and make a rice pilav with its chicken broth. After it is cooked, you add the chicken pieces on top and continue to cook everything. Make sure to check the link below for the full recipe. You might not used to use dried beans, but it is very easy to cook with and keeps for a long time in the pantry, for years even. The best thing you can do is cook one package after soaking overnight, either in the pressure cooker or regular pan with enough water, and after it is soft enough, drain the water and pour it into a container. It is not hard to break them apart and use in my soups or add some into my rice dishes, and it is very nutritious. Now let's move to the lentils, starting with the red lentils, kırmızı mercimek. Red lentils are very easy to cook. You don't have to soak them. It is very nourishing and a good source of protein. In Turkey, probably every cook begins to make their first dishes making mercimek çorbası, red lentil soup. In almost every restaurant, the first soup you can get would be mercimek çorbası. There are some different types, either lokanta, restaurant style, or with vegetables and spicy version as well, we call Ezogelin çorbası. In this version, we use red lentils, a little bit rice, and also bulgur at the end. First, we cook the lentils and rice, and meanwhile we saute an onion, tomato, and pepper paste, some of the pantry essentials from the part 1, and after it is cooked, we bring them together, and as a final touch, you add a little bit of thin bulgur. Beautiful, spicy, and delicious. And this is another version of using grains and legumes in a beautiful soup is bakliyat çorbası. Well, bakliyat means in Turkish legumes. While cooking all the legumes together, we again saute an onion and meanwhile make a sauce, this time using yogurt, flour, and egg, and bring them all together. The yogurt base here gives a creamy, tangy flavor. I'll leave the links for the recipe in the description. It's one of the dishes you never get tired to eat. Then we have the green lentils. We use this for cold salads, make a soup using erişte together or as is. If you make it a bit thicker, it can even be eaten as a main dish. I made my favorite green lentil soup special for this episode. Let me show you. Along with green lentils and erişte, I'm gonna use an onion, carrot, tomato, some tomato paste, and garlic if you want, you can add. First going to saute my onions in some olive oil. Meanwhile, going to chop my tomatoes and garlic and grate the carrot. Carrot is optional here. Traditionally we don't add, but I like to. It gives a sweetness and more vitamin and color to my soup. I'm just going to pre-boil my soaked green lentils. Soaking is optional, but it helps to cook it more evenly without cracking. Just going to partially boil for a couple of minutes to get the darker color out. Meanwhile, I sauteed my vegetables, added tomato paste and tomatoes and water. Now adding the green lentils back after draining the dark liquid. Then continue to simmer, and while the green lentils is still al dente cooked, add the egg noodles, erişte, either store-bought or homemade. Continue to simmer, added some black pepper and dried mint also goes well. You can either saute in some butter or add right in if you want to have it lighter. And here is our beautiful green lentil erişte soup is ready. They are great source of protein and a staple for meatless meals. Next, let's take a look at bulgur, an ingredient even older than rice in Anatolia. A coarse bulgur is used making bulgur pilavı. It is one of the easiest way to make a satisfying side dish. It can be plain. You can saute some vermicelli pasta before adding the bulgur, which I will share in the upcoming episode with a hearty stew together as a new menu. Make a version with vegetables like peppers, tomatoes. It will be even more rich and flavorful. Here is a beautiful example of making bulgur pilav with vegetables. I sauteed here some onion, carrots, eggplants, then tomatoes, tomato paste again. There is even another traditional version we make using bulgur and green lentils only. Then you add the bulgur and continue to saute, add the water, spices. Here I even added some cooked green peas and simmer everything until fluffy and well cooked. In here I served mine with crispy chicken and purslane yogurt salad. Pairs perfectly with grilled meat stew, and it is also more nutritious compared to the rice. And then we have tin bulgur, which has its own way of cooking and different dishes to use. We make a bulgur salad, kısır, which is a popular salad we have along with tea, especially in ladies' party when we have in the afternoons. Another one is of course çiğ köfte. Spicy raw bulgur balls. Traditional recipe from the southeastern Turkey. It doesn't need boiling. You just soak it in some warm water just to cover up, and within 5 minutes it will soak all the water and will be fluffy and ready to use. And another dish you can make with tin bulgur is İçli köfte. It has a beautiful crust made with tin bulgur and a rich flavorful sauteed minced meat filling. Very popular dish throughout the southeastern part of Anatolia. You can find it in almost every restaurant as a hot entry or side dish as well. Traditionally, it is shaped into ovals like a lemon and then filled with the minced meat filling. But on my channel, I also showed different simpler version how to shape using stretch film. If you love this kind of recipes, I highly recommend trying it at home. It's so delicious, and you can even freeze and keep it ready to deep fry and serve. When we talk about nostalgic and comforting staples, Erişte or kesme is a must. Erişte is a traditional Turkish egg noodles. We usually make at home, but this is store-bought version. It has egg in it. It's usually made plain, but you can also make colorful pastas using spinach, beetroots, or turmeric. You roll out the dough, dry a little bit on stove top to easily cut, and then cut into different shapes. We usually cut like this or into triangles, and then dry completely to use during the winter. I will also add the link for the full recipe into the description. You can boil it like a pasta and serve it with cheese and walnuts. It is simple, satisfying, and so very Anatolian. And finally, we have these two small but mighty ingredients that make a big differences in flavor and texture. Şehriye, either orzo, arpa şehriye, or vermicelli, tel şehriye. I love making rice pilav with these. 90% I use this because I love the nutty flavor in it. And we also make beautiful soups with it, especially tomato soup with orzo pasta or use vermicelli. It cooks even in shorter time. Basically, you saute some tomato paste, add grated tomatoes if it's the season, add chicken broth if you have, then cook the vermicelli together, and finally add some chopped parsley and serve with lemon. So simple yet nourishing, comforting soup. We even have ready sauteed, browned vermicelli pasta to use with bulgur. They sell it mixed with bulgur as well to make it ready to cook. You can saute them yourself with some butter and then add the bulgur, same as the rice. So my friends, this is just the beginning. Once you have all these staple ingredients in your pantry, make sure to check the first episode as well. You can create dozens of Turkish meals with ease. These pantry staples may seem simple, whether it's a pot of lentil soup bubbling or a fluffy rice pilav. These ingredients truly bring our kitchens to life. I hope this episode gave you some inspirations to explore Turkish cooking, or maybe just reminded you of a comforting dish from your own memories. Please share it with me in the comments. And don't forget, this is just the second episode. If you haven't watched the first one, don't forget to watch and also wait for the third episode. Thanks for spending time with me today, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Afiyet olsun.